Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I've got mission 2 of the Operation Charnwood campaign for the P51 in DCS World. And this is set on July 4th, so one day after the first episode. This one sees us providing close air support for Operation Windsor. And Operation Windsor was the operation to take Capriquet Airfield, just to the southwest of the city of Caen, in preparation for the attack on the city of Caen itself in Operation Charnwood. Specifically, we're tasked with bombing an artillery position to the east of the airfield, and we've been told that this is going to be marked with red smoke, probably because this is really close to the front lines, so there's a fairly high chance of blue-on-blue fire if we're not accurate. Otherwise, this is a bit of a shorter episode, just because we don't go on much of an armed recce, as you'll see later. Do, however, have a pretty good startup on this one, so I was going to kick off the episode going through the startup procedure. I do have time cards in the description, so if you'd like to skip the startup and go straight to the action, there'll be a link right there. Otherwise, please enjoy. So first we put the flaps to the full up position, and then push both the carburetor levers forward. Then turn the rudder to 5 degrees right. Then RPM full forward and crack the throttle slightly. The fuel pump goes on, magnetos go on, and the fuel lever goes on. And I turn on the first 4 switches to give electrical power, and then turn on communications.
Colt 1-1, request startup.
While waiting for startup, I put on the parking brake.
Startup, wind 293 at 4 meters per second.
And then turn the pump for 1 second, and then hold the starter, and then when it starts to catch, put the fuel into the run position.
Colt 1-1, request taxi to runway.
Taxi, close the canopy, and at this point we've done startup. So taxi and takeoff is pretty straightforward. There's limited tail wheel control in the P51, so you can turn a little bit just by using the rudder, even at low speeds. If you need to turn sharply, just push the stick forward to disengage the tail wheel lock, and you can use the left and right brakes to turn pretty much on the spot.
Colt 1-1, you are cleared for takeoff and ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.68.
Once you're lined up with the runway, so I have to check everything's in position, and activate the ADA. After that, it's just a case of pushing to full power. There's very little rudder needed, as you've already got the rudder trim set. You just get up to speed, and the plane will fly itself off the ground. For that, just raise the landing gear, and just set. So skipping ahead here to the actual mission, I've just been circling for about 10 minutes until we're just about ready. So the airfield's right below me, and that airfield I'm looking at is Capriquet Airfield, where frontline troops are currently assaulting the German position. So as you can see, we're pretty much sort of within spitting distance of the enemy. The target is just at the other side of the river past there. Capriquet Airfield's pretty much pointing its runway strip straight at the targets. They're just between the 2 clumps of trees there. I've got my wing all formed up here, and we're just getting into position right now. See the explosions on the airfield, and they're the 2 smoke markers. So just double checking all weapon armament. I've got the bombs set to train, so they'll drop individually. And I'll remember to arm both bombs. And you can just make out a few vehicles in the field between the two pillars of spread smoke. Just trying to get lined up here to make the best pass. Still very much learning bombs. Try and go in, cut the throttle, pull up a bit to lose airspeed and let the plane fall down.
Contact target, 1 o'clock, port 2.
Now that we're in the dive, the rest of the wing manages to spot the target. I'm going to try and line up as best I can. You can see I'm waving about a bit to release 2 bombs and pull up. Get some fragments hitting one of the trucks, but really nothing good at this point. Except I'm still not great with dive bombing.
Engage targets of opportunity with unguided bombs.
Order the flight to engage as best I can, or as best they can, and slowly come around. As we can see, we've annoyed the defensive AAA here, which starts to open up on us. So, doing my best to come around, trying to draw the fire to give my wingman a clear pass. Looking at how much this smoke is currently billowing, I think there might be a lot heavier wind than I really anticipated here. Also really wasn't keeping a very straight line as I dived in back there. Part of this I realised later is I still have my rudder trimmed slightly to the right, so that won't have been helping. At this point I realise that the AAA isn't managing to fire at me. I'm not sure if it's trying to track one of the other aircraft, or it's just not managing to turn fast enough to keep an eye on me. So I go in to try and take it out. And thankfully managed to do so in one pass. Not really the smartest thing I could have done. Probably should have let my wing drop their bombs just in case they took it out safely. But as it is, I managed to take it out, giving them a bit more of a safe line. I think all of my wing at this point were planning on attacking that AA, so I have to give them another set of orders to get them to actually want to drop their bombs. The wingman decides that he's going to go in. The second element decide they're staying up. Get a bit of a better look at the rest of the targets here, and there's a mix of trucks and what seem to be tanks. After the mission I checked and they're actually bomber self-propelled artillery, so really don't have any chance of damaging them with the 50 cals. 50 cals do however make very quick work of the supporting trucks, which I imagine are ammo trucks for the artillery.
Engage targets of opportunity. 4, roger. 4, engaging target.
So the second element now decides that they can also engage. And I just keep circling, keep an eye out. Keep my distance before making another run in.
2, running in.
decide not to run in while the other planes are going in, because the 500-pound bombs really do have a large explosion radius.
4, running in.
And I've learned from some practice that they can absolutely wreck a low-flying plane that's anywhere near them when they go off.
Bombs away. 3, bombs away.
So
2,
wingman's hit first bomb, misses.
2, engaging target.
Loyal leaders to Kenway, airborne with 8 Spits. Have anything for us?
Second element's pair of bombs miss.
4, bombs away.
Enemy air activity is likely. We have
Bombs away.
contacts. Carry on as briefed. Out.
4, engaging
And the
target.
fourth plane also misses his pair of bombs. So right now, the four of us are doing a terrible job at actually landing bombs on anything. Kind of makes me feel a bit better about missing my two, but at this point, only 50 cals have really done any damage to the enemy. The 3 and 4 were just given orders to engage, and so they're now running in their 50 cals. My wingman's still under orders specifically to engage with bombs, so he is lining up to make another pass. He does still have his single bomb. I'm a lot less worried about friendly fire from 50 cals, so I'm happy to make my run at the same time. So what you can see there is 3 was engaging the boom bars with his 50 cals.
The target was hit and briefed. We're continuing on with our Recce.
Engaging target.
So I get some decent hits on that pass, taking out the vehicles that I damaged before with the bomb.
Engaging target.
And despite the voiceover's instructions, at this point I decide just to continue on the current target.
2, bombs away.
I do take a quick look at the map just to get in mind what I need to think about for the rest of the flight. The last bombs thankfully actually managed to hit something, but it doesn't actually destroy the boom bar. It blows up just next to it, but it's just not enough. With all of our bombs dropped and none of the bombs having hit any of the targets, we've sort of failed in our primary mission of destroying the artillery. That did give me a panic when I saw that allied plane zipping by my window. At this point, so the best we can do is to clear up the support trucks. That at least will take away the artillery. The artillery's ammo. So again we get a warning of heavy flak, which I take a bit more note of this time. And so although the flight plan does call for the flight to go east at this point, that would lead us straight into the flak. So when we do go on the armed recce, I decide to go further south. At this point there's only one truck that I can see, it's just here behind this pillar of smoke. And I take it out. So right now we've taken out pretty much every truck that I can see in the target area. My wingmen still seem determined that 50 cals can take out a German heavy self-propelled artillery, but I really don't have that much faith. So at this point I decide to gab flight, and we head off on the armed Recce.
Flight, join up.
Rejoin. 2. Contact air defense target, 11 o'clock, point 2.
So the armed Recce really didn't go very well, mostly because this happened every time. I'd try and get through enemy lines, and before we found anything that's worth shooting at, we found AA that was firing at us. I could have gone after the AA, but I didn't think it was really worth putting my plane or the other planes at risk, so I just turned in a new direction, and then we just encountered the same thing. After a little bit of this, I just decided that since we had spent a lot of ammo already, we may as well just turn back. This time I learned my lesson previously, and I crossed the front lines at the same point I did previously at the Capriquet Airfield. So that was a nice, safe trip back. Incidentally, this plane here is just a Spitfire, friendly Spitfire on a bombing run. So after identifying them, I'll just leave them be and continue on home.
Code 1-1. Check landing gear. Wind 293 at 4 meters per second. Runway 27.
So the landing went a lot smoother this time. At this point in the approach, I've got my gears down, got the flaps on full, and this time I'm keeping a very close eye on my airspeed. I seem to have a much easier approach, a little bit steeper end to try and avoid those trees, and also aiming a little further down the runway, since the P51 really doesn't need that much of a runway to come to a stop in. A tiny bit of a crosswind here, but really isn't that much. And ease it down, keeping an eye on the airspeed the whole time. Do actually bounce here, it's mostly because the gears are a little lower than I thought they were. But on the second touch I do actually manage a 3-point landing, nice and smooth, and bring it to a nice gentle stop. So much better than last time. I'm pretty happy with that, and hopefully I'll be able to keep up that pattern going forward. All in all, the mission was a very good success. We didn't take out the bombers, but we did destroy all of their ammunition.
Code 1-1.
And then
Parking area.
no damage on any planes this time, and I managed to bring my plane back in one piece. Still very much need to get better at the accuracy of bombing, so it's just something I'm going to be working on going forward in the campaign. Otherwise, in total I got 9 ground targets, and 1 other target was destroyed by my wingman. So 10 targets eliminated overall between all the aircraft, so it's a pretty good run for no damaged airplanes. Just here I briefly line up again, and then run through the shutdown procedure. So as normal, it's everything in reverse, RPM and throttle back, the fuel mixture onto cutoff, fuel booster off, magnetos off, fuel pump off, and all the electrics off, and finally put the carburetors back in the regular position. Open the canopy, and we're done. Well, as always, I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like. And if you'd like to see more of these, subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on going through the entire Charnwood series, so there should be plenty more to come. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and have fun.